Hello and welcome. I'm Parul Sharma and you're watching Zoom TV. Today I have with me the cast and director of the upcoming show Guilty Minds. Please join me in welcoming Shriya Pilgaonkar, Varun Mitra and Shefali Bhushan. Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing?
Very good. Thank you.
So it seems like you are guilty of having a very intriguing and gripping trailer, I must say. Haha, funny, CJ, thanks. Okay, diving right in. Shriya, you previously said that your character Kashaf in Guilty Minds is very strong-headed, has opinions, and that itself was very difficult to play as Shriya.
Stubborn
Can you
also.
please elaborate on this? Like, what do you mean?
I think what I meant is that for Kashaf, she is somebody who has very strong ideals. Her understanding of life is in terms of this is right and this is wrong. And I personally feel like life is grey, just the way his character thinks. Which is why as Kashaf, I had to get into that mindset and be stubborn about the ideas of what I would think are wrong. You know, I guess her moral compass is different. And for somebody like that, life can be a challenge because you don't have too many people who think like that.
Definitely.
So there's a beautiful, gentle innocence to Kashaf. You know, she's very passionate. And she's somebody who, while she wants to do right, she won't do anything that that is even remotely, I mean, to get to that right, she will still not do anything remotely out of the way that she would deem as inappropriate.
Sure.
So I will say that she's not a jugadu like that. You know how there are many kinds of good people. You know what I'm saying? There are many kinds of good people, moral people, but Kashaf to me is the epitome of a gentle, powerful, idealistic soul.
Varun, you've talked about how you went to a trial court and sort of saw a lawyer who's everyone's favorite and he was really energetic and that kind of gave you the conviction to play Deepak, which sidebar, my father's name is Deepak. But how important is it for you as an actor to have a real life point of reference whenever you're playing a character? Is that something that's usually a part of your process?
Well, you can hope for it, that you find someone who's similar, but it does really help because whatever we had been discussing was on paper, right? Like even when we sat down, I mean, she had seen her brothers, but for me it was on paper. But when you see someone who's actually more or less sort of living and breathing that sort of life, because when we heard about lawyers, before I went to the trial court, we thought, okay, something more serious and stuff which is a little bit more direct. I haven't been to too many courtrooms, thankfully.
Thank God.
But you imagine it to be more proper and everything, and that's what I'd heard also. So it was, and I was a bit, this thing about कि वही over the top वाला vibe नहीं आना चाहिए वैसा
Like
and
the
all that.
vakalat wala, usual.
You know, which can happen. But when I saw this guy, he was just having fun. He was just having fun with arguing and throwing the other guy off and trying to get his way with the judge. And like he just enjoyed being in that courtroom. He was walking around over there.
With swagger, you said.
Yeah, he just walked around like he owned the place like that. I mean, he didn't, obviously. But yeah, I think he was just having fun. And that's what I sort of took away from just that one meeting or whatever that I had with him.
Shefali, you come from a family of lawyers. How much did that help you in creating the world of Guilty Minds? And at times, did it feel like this is a little too close to home?
No, I never felt it's a little too close to home. It really helped me immensely because subconsciously I had absorbed a lot of terminology, a lot of the kind of issues that are being discussed because I was living in a family full of lawyers, but also one of my co-writers, Manav Bhushan, and Manav and I started working on this together. So him having studied law and also being very interested in a lot of, tech, high-tech kind of issues and reading a lot about them also really helped to sort of build cases, litigation that is relevant to those kind of issues when we started out.
What are the dinner time conversations like at home? Is it like everybody just arguing on top of each other?
Absolutely. Arguments are allowed in loud voices. My father, I'm the fourth sibling, so he's a lot older than me. But there was never any rule in the family that you can't participate in an argument as an equal.
Right.
So that was always the case, and everybody, like I have heard stories that my father and my grandfather, who was also a lawyer, used to follow each other around the house, shouting at each other because they were arguing about a certain point, and if one of them tried to leave, the other would not let him leave by following him around. So they would be shouting and following each other around the house.
That
So
sounds like
unfortunately, we've grown up in that kind of an environment, which is not very good.
Guys, how was she as a director? Was she like stern or was she like soft and easy?
Depends what scene it is, because I think the emotional understanding of characters that she had. I mean, she knows all of these characters so well, and it's so beautiful to see, especially the way some of the intimate scenes were dealt with. It's just very different when you have a woman directing those.
Please elaborate a little bit more on that, because I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like spaces that women are helming would,
Yes.
especially for a female actor, would be a lot not better, but you feel like you're heard more, or
It's just the gaze and just the gentleness, I would say, and just overall, and just as a person, the way she is.
what about you, Varun? How did she fare as a director for you?
So I am someone who has a lot of questions. I like to do rehearsals. I like to really chew the character before I go to shoot it, because then unless and until I don't have that conviction, I'm not able to do it.
Sure.
And she was kind enough, and she gave me the time that I needed, and the stuff that we were not convinced about, we read it and read it and read it. And even when the COVID break happened, I remember on a Zoom call we were doing the readings. So I think for an actor, like she also said, someone who hears you out, because we dive into it, like we go into a deep dive, and there are so many thoughts, all can't be used, right?
Sure.
It has to be channeled.
Streamlined a
So, and we feel heard when the director hears you out, we feel heard, and it just sort of settles something inside us, and we say, okay, we need to channel it in this sort of fashion.
Talking a little bit about your upcoming project, Shriya, you are going into Abhi To Party Shuru Hui Hai, and there is also some speculation of PP Petals. Would you like to give us some updates on any of these?
Abhi To Party Shuru Hui Hai, shot a few years ago, but I'm not, I think Anubhav Sinha
Yeah.
will be able to answer the question as to where that film is at the moment,
Okay.
because I enjoyed shooting for that. But
It has been lost somewhere.
I'm not really sure, but it was a great cast. But I have 6 releases this year, and all very different parts, from different genres. I'm doing comedy in one, I'm doing action in one. I have season 2, of course, of Crackdown and Gone Game, and then I have 2 other announcements which will be end of this month actually. So I can't, I'll just say there are 6 completely different parts and genres, and I'm really excited that the work is finally coming out now.
Varun, we are seeing you next in Tejas, like immediately. Any updates about that project, and also what is it like being on a Kangna Ranaut set? How's that going?
It's releasing on the 5th of October, I think. That's what's been announced. And it was great, yeah. It was like being with any other actor. She's very warm, she's very professional, and what else could you ask for?
Okay, we're going to quickly play one quick game. It's called the Guilty Game.
Okay.
Don't be stressed. It's a little stressful, but don't be stressed. I will just say a few statements. You tell me if you're guilty of doing that thing or not. Guilty of cheating on a diet plan or health regimen?
100%.
Of course.
Please, of course.
Which is the last diet that you all went on, or
She
what?
had a brownie this
For
morning.
breakfast this morning. Brownie for breakfast. Not even kidding.
Guilty of getting your way out of a ticket or a fine?
No. I play by the rules there.
Kashaf, playing by the rules.
No.
Varun's silence is telling me that.
I'm guilty of it.
I have tried to get my.
But
way
have
out
you
of it.
used like your star power out of it, or just like the usual bribe situation?
No, so actually it was a situation wherein the very kind
Gentleman.
person realized it was not an intentional, because आजकल तो cameras होते तो चालान तो कट ही जाता है. That was not the point. But I didn't realize when I sort of crossed it, he was there and he saw me. But I think parents के goodwill के वजह से मुझे sorry मैंने बोला उन्होंने जाने दिया. मेरा क्रेडिट नहीं है, पेरेंट्स का
मैं
क्रेडिट है.
सुप्रिया सर और सचिन सर की बेटी हूँ. You must love them.
मैंने बोला ही
I'm
नहीं,
sorry.
उन्होंने देखा और उन्होंने
मैम आप जाइए.
हाँ उन्होंने एक बार माफ कर दिया.
Varun, what about you? Please tell me your story of how you got out of a ticket or a fine.
I would rather not. But I wasn't very successful at it, so
Okay.
let's not tell that story.
There's no
It's tough
excuses
here.
now.
The memorable one with me was actually when I don't think I'd got my driver's license yet. And I took my dad's car out when he was not there. And I knocked it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
मुझे
Good to
मास्क
hear.
के लिए भी मिला था, मास्क.
अच्छा, mask in the car.
या
मास्क.
कश्मीर में.
Hmm.
I was like, I just wanted some fresh air और मुझे फाइन कर दिया.
But
I
that's such a
paid.
sad place
I
to have your
swear.
mask
Exactly.
on. Yeah. Guilty of cheating on a partner. I have never. I play by the rules.
That's the answer.
Shefali.
Who's going to tell the truth here?
You can. We don't have to get into the details of it. Be honest. Be candid. Come on.
No, I'm a loyal client. Yeah, it's true. You can ask my ex-girlfriends.
I'll be sure to do that.
Yeah, they'll tell you.
Shriya.
I think I would not be able to be with someone if I mean, I would want to be with someone enough. Only then would I be with that person. So even I haven't found myself in a situation like that.
Fair enough. Guilty of going hungover to a business meeting or audition. I love it. Please. give
Meeting.
Give juice.
Important meeting, but I also had a friend's party and I'm a lightweight. So even maybe like 3 glasses of wine and not eating enough can get me a hangover. So yeah.
But did you tank the meeting or was it
No,
successful?
I went for it, but I was not like bad hangover. It was fine, but it was still a hangover.
Could have been better.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Varun?
I went.
If you say no, I will call you out.
No. There was a audition that I had to do, and it required the character to be high, and I was struggling with it a little bit. So I thought, let's make life easy, and
Method करते हैं.
I
method acting.
tanked some vodka, I think, a lot of it by the end of it. In the parking lot, I was sitting and swigging it before
Right before the audition.
Right before the audition, and I went and messed it up royally.
Oh God.
Royally. I was
That
like,
backfired?
after this, I am never going to actually get high to do a part like that.
So you got drunk on vodka before an audition and you tanked it. I wonder why. So surprising.
Thank you. Never
Shefali?
again.
कुछ ऐसे
I'm turning out to be this very boring person who plans.
She came totally hammered to
drinking.
set the
Yeah. कुछ narration के पहले you're like, guys, your character.
No, I will plan my drinking sessions when I can afford to have a hangover.
Okay, guilty of cheating on a test or examination of any sort.
हाँ मतलब स्कूल में थोड़ा बहुत हुआ है, but I wasn't in the sense लोग मेरे पेपर से कॉपी करते थे.
Oh my God, you were one of those.
कि they were, but मैं हेल्प भी करती थी, but मैंने भी चीटिंग किया है. I have cheated school test में, but not in like there would be people in my class who would be very like hectic professional cheaters. I don't know how they had these tricks up their sleeves.
What's a professional cheater? Like hiding
By that
things
I mean
and-
they would come prepared, and I was one of those nerds who enjoyed studying, to be honest.
course you
So
were.
I would be very prepared for my exams, but maths में एक दो बार I've cheated maths में. और वो भी ठीक से cheat नहीं किया था. उस cheating में भी गलती की थी मैंने.
Sweet girl is like,
Yeah.
I used to let people cheat also.
Yeah.
So nice. Varun, what about you?
I used to be petrified of being caught.
वही.
So I
you didn't cheat?
I think maybe on a biology exam I must have tried to but I don't think I had the courage to. I was too scared of my father in that department. He's a very straight guy.
Straight edge.
Straight.
We don't do
totally straight arrow.
Shefali, should I bother asking?
No. Don't bother. Before the question, Shefali's like, no, don't ask.
Not applicable.
But you know what I meant is there are some people who, like he said, वो डरते ही नहीं हैं.
किसी
These
का खौफ
kids,
नहीं है,
बिल्कुल
भगवान का भी
नहीं.
डर
मतलब
नहीं
I remember this guy. He used to sit in front of me. He would fully turn behind, and I would be scared on his behalf. I would be like, "You look ahead. The teacher's looking. Don't look at my face.
Save yourself.
Save yourself."
Okay, guilty of being a part of a project that you weren't fully convinced about or invested in. This you can be.
Yes.
So give details.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a corporate film, a scientific kind of a corporate film, And I felt like I was jobless for a while, and I wanted to do my best. It was deadly dull, and I just couldn't focus. The writer or my assistant that I had hired couldn't keep her eyes open. So finally, I think they also realized, and they threw us out. So it was a bad experience.
That's a fun story. What about you guys?
Not film or series workspace mein, because I feel like thankfully I have not had to do something out of any other sort of reason other than the fact that I really like the part, but an ad maybe, an ad or two which seemed very, very cliche and very, very typical, and you had to be like, no, exactly. But got paid well for it, so just shut up and got the job done.
Okay. Varun?
Not really. Not really. Like even where the ad has been like that, we've got paid well for it. So
you just suck it up.
you suck it up, yeah.
And deal with it.
You suck it up.
Okay, and lastly, guilty of having a crush on someone you're working with.
Like while you're working with them.
Before,
Or
after,
before,
during,
after.
whatever. Sky's the limit.
I'm living the part. I had a crush on her.
That is so sweet.
You heard it here first, guys.
Oh, how sweet. अभी headline
Should I
यही
get down my
रखेंगे वो, you know ना. अभी
Varun
यही
admits to
tickle.
having a crush on Shriya.
I have in the past. Yeah.
Have we ever acted upon it?
No. It was a silent crush.
Juicy questions, huh?
Arre, she already said that I'm here for the juicy questions.
What about you, Shefali?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask me this.
But when
She
her
had a crush on our
co-director-
co-director, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that went a bit far. No, I think, you know, it's called cabin fever. You're working together in such intense and difficult situations. I think you end up having a crush on a lot of people. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, guys. It was an absolute pleasure, and good luck for everything ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.